pals. All right, my pals. And my wee Bill Bags. Oh, woo! This is the day when Celtic won away. Actually, it was, yesterday. That was yesterday when Celtic won. I had a fantastic day, man. A fantastic night yesterday. That was pure dead fucking brilliant troops. And my dear Celtic fellow fans. That was pure fucking dead brilliant man night. First hot a wee bit, as you know. Sorry. It's me again. Glasgow genuinely. A Celtic daft. How's it going? So, coming back to the match, yesterday's Celtic match with Hearts. The first half was a wee bit scrappy. But, troops. But. Champions always find a way to win. And Celtic did it again. Celtic found a way to win that match. And they won, sorry. Celtic won next match. And woo! It's on top of the table, man. Top of the table. And Sheep and Seth come make good done. Celtic is a leader. Woo! Sorry about that. But. Celtic is the grandest, so is Glasgow. Ima traffic connect. Alright. So, I'd love to comment it for you, that match, that pure brilliant match. Alright. The Celtic and Hearts match. So, the champions returned to domestic action with a brilliant 4-1 victory. 4-1. Aye, that was something, man. Over Hearts and Tynecastle, as Kyogo, Kuhn and the Ida got their names at the straight goals, So the first chance of the match was away when there was a second minute, Lawrence Shanklin. So headed the ball through Blair Spittle in the penalty area, but so shot got straight Kasper Schmeichel, who was able to make the save, man. I was watching that with my hoops, as usual. So James Penrith erased just fucking distance on the moment after. So that's something that Schmeichel called the action once again to prevent the opening goal. So Shanklin was the next Hearts player on that feint hustle opportunity. So inside the box, which curled laced in that post. So in truth, the home side was majority of attacking play, the opening man, and Hovner or so, as there had finishing been better. So Tika, I would have that deserved lead. So bound to their team, good start now. Him fans that there to turn up. So have the noise now, hostility, get the atmosphere inside. Tynecastle an extra crackle, man. From a Celtic perspective, the first half was mostly forgettable, as the Hoops spent the majority of the whole defending against Hearts attacks. So there was a few moments of promise that the 45 minute for Brendan Rodgers men, Nicholas Kuhn, Alistair Johnston, linking it up well on a right hand side, a Kyogo looking lively, man. So looking around the box, but I was clear that it would take an improved performance in the second half in order to claim the 3 points, man. Celtic was in possession of the ball, 68%. Shots on target, 13. Shots, 13 shots on target, 9. Corner, 6. Falls, 8. So, as I said to you, very, very beginning that first half was a little bit scrappy, but the second half was whoa, great, pure fucking brilliant, as I mentioned. So within 5 minutes of the restart of the Hoops in the second half, the first real chance of the game, as Kuhn clipped it perfectly weighted ball to Kyogo, and the Japanese striker managed to get a shot on goal, but Hearts keeper. So, and former Celtic number 1, Craig Gordon, kept it 4 out. So in the 55th minute, the atmosphere amongst the home support was turned down. Not as Kyogo on his 150th appearance for the Celtic broke the deadlock, man, and gave the hoops the lead. It was Kyogo who struck first goal. Was 1-0. First goal for Kyogo. I attempted clearance for the Hertz defence and the ricochet of the Callum McGregor. So and then the Kyogo and the yards out for so. Yards for that goal made 1-0. Grabbed the 80th Celtic goal in the process. Celtic lead was doubled na Bisteren Stalens just before a uur mark and a Koen thundered through the middle of the park and the ball which slipped deze middag. So Japanese forward vacillates straight and the back in the Koen and the back to the box and almost bursting away at a rocket. So I should have Gordon could do nothing about sparking brilliant sense among the travelling Celtic support. So Hertz almost pulled a goal back in the 72nd minute of the cross in the Celtic box, deflected off of Anthony Ralston, man, and towards the top corner. But Schmeichel was alert and was to prevent the goal, man. So the Celts keeper was called in the 26th of the minute, and that's time pulling off. So an impressive block for Cammy Devlin, so the close range. So the home support will be full of was not a big at the end of the first half. Was shooting over exit just 80 minutes. Mark Adamira had been brought over Kyogo. 3-0 the champions. So Bernardo provided a assist on the edge of the area. Living Ida with only the keeper to beat him on. So did Dooley and he struck the bottom corner of the net. So that him was just got himself in the second minute. So when Musa Drummond scored a distance, and then I was an impressive, ambitious effort, man. The Celts almost had a 490th minute with Craig Gordon producing 2 good stops in the game, Ida and Young, from extending the Celtic lead. So a 4th goal arrived in 93rd minute. Aye, that's Celtic. That's Celtic troops. That's Celtic. Just Celtic can finish the match with a pure perfection. Pure fucking perfection, striking a goal right next to the ball, right into the box, man. That's called pure perfection, and that's how champions are. Am I right? All right. So yesterday's victory put Celtic 3 points clear of second place. Aberdeen, Sheep, as I mentioned, Sheep, and Seth could go down. Celtic is only one. Celtic is the one team with Shane's braids on top of the fucking Sheep and Sevco Rangers, sorry. So what else? Oh, else I want to ask that Glasgow genuine and Celtic have to in traffic kune. Yesterday's match trips was pure dead brilliant, As I mentioned, the first half of the game was odd. We didn't create any chances, but at no point did it feel in danger, so of not winning. So, but what gives a confidence was our ability to make 5 substitutions and change the game if needed. As it turned out, that wasn't unnecessary. Kyogo, man, we had one of those nights where he terrified defenders every time that got the ball, got us off, and to start within the 80th goal for the club. So, I mean, he'll sure join the 100th goal club soon. He deserves every bit of acclaim for a Celtic sport, and he does. The goal last night was typical of his many qualities, man. Couldn't produce another pure fucking brilliant goal, man. Moment of magic, as I say. His goal was a thing of charm and beauty. Pure perfection, man. It came at just the right time, and was just effectively killing the game off. It gets better and better. Kuhn gets better and better, man. It's a great to think of him, man, in full flow. And I just come in midweek. He's one of those players who the crowd reacts to every time he's on the ball because nobody, especially opposition defenders, knows what he's going to do. He's unpredictable, man. So be aware of Kuhn and Kyogo. And Ida, of course. Great striker. Then we had Adam Ida, man. Adam Ida show. sauce particular please man. So that's because I've I read some ridiculous criticism of him about Ida and just a couple of weeks ago, and people claiming that hasn't done anything enough to need to justify him paying the £9 million fee. So let's get one off the straight. He doesn't. No player is responsible for the price tag. Someone else puts on them. All player can do is deliver when called upon. And Ida has proven how dependable he is and how assured he is in front of goal. So that's his job, man. He did brilliantly last night. He does as well, unpredictable, because he's he can has that feeling, and he just feels when he finds a situation, he finds a space in between rivals' defence, and he just strike a goal. Pure perfection, man. This is Code of Celtic, that one. With no players, man. So every player is in their own strengths, and not every one of them is very relatable. So that's why we are top of the table. So that's why we're on top of the table, man. We're still at top of the table. Celtic is a champion, man. Here we go again for the next Champions League. 4 in a row, man. That's why we are top on the table, man. And why we haven't lost a game. We are going into that Celtic spell now, so confident I'll get place, man. So that was what I want to add, it was that about the yesterday's performance, was a sense of the what was incredible about yesterday's Celtic performance was that the sense of this team still has extra gears to shift into. I mean, so if we needed to push harder, we could have done so. I still got this result. So that should terrify the clubs around us. That's because that's incredibly difficult to stop. Aye, Celtic is incredibly difficult to stop, incredibly difficult to beat, man. We now have a 3-point lead at the top. So Celtic, I mean, we are light years ahead of the pitch. So I mean, that's down to Rodgers, down these players, and down to Ethos and his instilled. Grateful for having Rodgers. Brendan, thank you. To Ethos, he instilled in this side, where everyone works for everyone else. Just want trust now each section of the side with the as job. I mean, this looks like a squad capable of making history. Onward, man, to the next game. Hail! Woo! Because Celtic will play again in the Champions League, man, I suppose on a Wednesday, to be on a Wednesday, so it'll be something purely brilliant, man, so aye. It's love to know a fun fact about Celtic. So fun fact about Celtic is, in 1895, Celtic has a league record of the highest home score when they beat Dundee 11-0. In 1887, the club became a private limited company of Willie Miley, who was appointed as the first security manager between 1905 and 1910. Celtic won the Scottish League Championship 6 times in a row. Fun facts about Celtic Park. With a capacity of almost over 70,000, Celtic Park is the largest football stadium in Scotland. Why is Celtic FC called Celtic? How's that? You may find something about it in my previous videos, because you know. What are Celtic fans known for? Me included, man. So Celtic supporters have traditionally been associated with support for Irish republicanism. So the flying of Irish flags and matches in common. So some groups of Celtic supporters are singing a chant the Irish folk and Rainbow Song, and which express support for Irish struggle freedom. Are most Celtic fans Irish? The majority fan, aye. Was a fact about Celtic? The Celtic religion was prosthetic, meaning they had more than one god. In fact, the Celtic religion is thought and have over 300 gods. And the Celts would sacrifice animals to their gods, man. I believe in the afterlife, and they were often buried with their possessions, so you could take them into next life. Why Celtic famous, you know, man? You know this. Celtic FC, we 52 Scottish champions and 38 Scottish caps in the trophy cabinet. It's fair to say that Celtic FC is club synonymous with Scottish football. Along with their domestic successes, they were the first British club to win a European Cup, so having done so in 1967 in Lisbon. Lisbon Lions, aye. Alright, so Celtic news are that James Forrest signed a contract extension. I'm so delighted that James Forrest announced the one club man that he signed a new contract extension committing his future to the club. What Brendan Rodgers said about him is that this announcement is brilliant news for the club. James has given everything to Celtic, and it's so much to me personally. But make no mistake, has so much more to give. Look at that season already. He's a player undoubtedly can still deliver for us. So he's born winner. Someone with that such talent is there. I know they play a huge important role in bringing us continued success. His heart and passion will always be with Celtic. I'm so pleased that he decided to extend his contract. Something about another contract extension is Alistair Johnston, because Alistair Johnston also signed a contract extension up to 2029. Aye, troops. And the great news is that Brendan Rodgers is staying as a Celtic manager. Here's what he said. I said when I came back that I'm here for 3 years, not unless go back before that. So I haven't thought that about it. In fairness, for near a year, there was probably more people that wanted me out. So I'm still going to be talking about new contracts now. I just needed to do my very best for this football club. And then, at some point next season, I'm sure we can look at where we're going, take it for there. I love my life here. This is an amazing club. It's an amazing club to work for. Funnily enough, going away and then coming back has made it even better for me. I knew I missed when I was away, so I'm not in a big rush to be leaving again. So that's what Brendan Rodgers said. What I wanted to share with you is my poem I wrote about Celtic. Celtic, my team, my love. Oh, Celtic, you're a team for me. Oh, Celtic, I'll follow you to the last day. Oh, Celtic, I'll be loyal through and through. Oh, Celtic, you're close to my heart. Oh, Celtic, you're invincible, unbeatable. You can dismantle every club you play with. Oh, Celtic, you're not like any club. You're a club like no other. You're pure special. Oh, Celtic, you're magic. You're my lifestyle. I'm running my life. Oh, Celtic, you're a club for everyone. You don't ask where you feel. You don't judge. Oh, Celtic, just softy is enough to become your fan. Oh, Celtic, you're Glasgow's, Scotland's and Europe's pride. And the rest of the clubs should be pure terrified because you are a champion. It's pure hard to beat you, man. Alright. This is what I'm going to talk about, troops, as Glasgow gangs. Some criminal Glasgow. I'd love to talk to you about it just now in my second part, you know. That'll be something purely brilliant. Let me tell you, there'll be something purely brilliant talking about Glasgow gangs. Oh, it may give you, you know, the goosebumps or thrills in your spines. But alright, that's alright. That's something I'd love to share with you. Alright, so let's start my second part. So it's you know. Alright. Look at that, troops. Glasgow is the. So as you know, Glasgow was a gang. My Glasgow was, you know, soaking with gangs. Soaking with gang culture. Glasgow was based on gang culture. So it all has started after Industrial Revolution, because the Industrial Revolution was main cause of these young people, young lads, joining gangs, young Glaswegians joining gangs. So because of that, and because of abuse and alcohol, and that's how they join gangs. It fell. They are free time as well. So as I mentioned in my previous video, Glasgow was once a murder capital of Europe. So here I would want to tell you just now is the tradition of gang formation in Glasgow scratched back in the 1880s now. Gang rivalries appear to have derived a momentum of their own during the late 19th century, irrespective and short-term economic leads, man. Economic trend, both in Glasgow and the British municipalities. So one of the original gangs they coined the Glasgow smile was the St. Maggie's Warriors in 1925, man. Religious sectarianism had been rife in Scotland for centuries. However, the centre of it was in Glasgow. Glasgow's a centre, melting point for gangland. So originally Glasgow has been mainly Protestant, but in the 19th and 20th centuries, large numbers of Roman Catholic Irish immigrants came to the West Scotland, drawn by jobs and the local industries. That's that. I'm going to tell you about the aftermath. Most of these gangs, rivalry gangs, were created because of the Celtic Rangers fans. There have been always divisions, between Celtic Rangers. So you have to. I'm going to explain to you. So Protestant became irritated, man, increasing the unemployment rate and the influx of Catholics between November 1913 and May 1935. Glasgow's unemployment rate was between 25 and 33%, will be misleading to acclaim the mass unemployment was so cause of gang conflicts. So in the War of Glasgow, an advent mass unemployment, man, that appeared to have led to significant new parts of gang information. So first, as unemployment peaked locally in the early 1930s, a long-term unemployment posed an increasing concern. It became more common for young men in their 20s, and even 30s to remain active members of street gangs, some of which appear to have provided an important focus for jobless men. So, because they thought that being a gang leader is something. No working somewhere in a useless job for a useless manager, useless gaffer. They just joined gangs. They thought that being in a gang, being a leader is something. It's the peak of their dreams. That the dream come true, being a gang leader, That was something. That was a pride of being a gang leader or being a part of gang, So it was a bit misleading claim that unemployment was also cause of gangs conflicts in their interior of Glasgow. Advent of mass unemployment thus appeared to have led to two significant new parts of the gang formation. For the unemployment peak locally in the early 1930s and long months to term unemployment, so post-increasing concern become more common for young men in the 20s. So even in the 30s to remain active members of street gangs, so some of which appear to have provided an important focus for jobless men. So in the 1920s, Glasgow became known for its gang violence, in particular in Gorbals area, leading the portrait of Glasgow as one of Britain's most violent cities. Glasgow, murder capital of Europe. That's how Glasgow was called once. Relations between the gangs and the police were violent on both sides, as police officers and local youth contested ownership of streets, throughout the 1930s. So, as the police in Glasgow maintained a network of paid informers, including bar staff employed in public houses in the Bedford district. So, the south side now is the end to gather information concerning a plan, like the local street gang. So, confrontations between gangs and police officers threatened to fought policemen. So, attempts to take gang members into custody. For example, I have an example now. In June 1939, a major disturbance erupted in the Gorbals. And the behave boys, the South Side Stickers, reportedly joined forces to confront police officers who were Side Stickers reported joined forces to confront police officers who were taking 2 prisoners, a police station. Hundreds of local people gathered on the main street corners. Police reinforcements were stoned and they arrived at Cecil Street. A squad crashed in vans and disturbance spread. Shop windows were smashed. The police officers were forced to stone guard to prevent looting. So that's what Glasgow gangs look like, man. That was even that was pure hard to go out at night. I mean, after 10 p.m. So after dark, So it could be attacked by the gangs. Some of the gangs of Glasgow were not that obvious. They were acting as an orchestra, as belly boys. You heard that music in the background when they were walking down the streets. But they were pure fucking violent and pure dangerous. So I'm going to talk about that main gangs in Glasgow in a while. But now I'd love to continue trips with what were the types of gangs in Glasgow. So I hope you see me, man. The new, I'd love to, take off my traffic cone and Celtic scarf because it's something more. It's shite. Forget my words, man. Woo! It's something more dark. It's something darker, and something more serious. So, types of gangs. I'd love to tell you about that. In Glasgow, we had three types of gangs, and then they were that was the street gangs. First of all, razor gangs, the most violent and the most dangerous one. Riverley gangs that includes Celtic Rangers. Riverley, it's still present. I answer that question in a way. So gang rule down to after. So let me tell you about street gangs. So as just remember, I mentioned in my previous video about street gangs. So street gangs were created in Glasgow schemes. Glasgow schemes were who's in the States now, tenements, social tenements outside Glasgow, so outside Glasgow, not Glasgow's outskirts, as you know. And street gangs were created at these Glasgow schemes because of people, young lads, they had more free time or they didn't have nothing better to do. Just they joined gang, They were so fucking bored. That's how they joined gangs, Cause of, I don't know, abuse, man. And families, or alcohol abuse as well. So that's how they joined gangs. As you know, street gangs were organised and they were created in these Glasgow schemes, but the streets of Glasgow schemes, but the point was, the street gangs surrounded you. And you couldn't find your way out. That's how the street gangs worked. Operated. So, let me tell you about razor gangs. Because razor gangs were way dangerous. And more violent. They use some hatchets, hammers, and they very sharp knives, especially those types of razor knives as well. So, let me tell you about that razor gangs. So, the Glasgow razor gangs were violent, as I mentioned, and existed in the East End and the south side of Glasgow. So, in late 1920s and the 1930s, so that were named after a weapon of choice, you know. Hey, nicely and long novel No Means Say, I'm going to mention the novel here, No Means Say, written in 1935, contains a fictionalized account of these gangs, razor gangs, so believed by the site of the former leper colony, Glasgow's most depraved district, the Gorbals, lies on the south bank of the Clyde now, and the close to Glasgow city centre, and they towards the end of 18th century, man. So that was, as you know, it's redesigned and to be an elegant residential neighbourhood for the Protestant middle classes. So, but then there was a mass immigration, the Highlanders, and the Europeans, and most problematically, Catholic Irish migrants. So the first gang activity, razor gang activity, was recorded around this time. So that's sort of a choice, a simple stone. And as Manchester middle classes became attainments of the working, you know. And then as the working classes, landlords, now the standards slide, but 1920s, now it was quite simple. Islam were one, and three was jobless. Wars, religious rivalries, ripped the city apart. Geographically, and most infamously, you know. So along football lines, some mentions Celtic Rangers here as well. In the east were the Catholic Celtic supporters, and in the west the Protestant the Rangers supporters. So when the worldwide Great Depression in 1929, Glasgow already suffering went down to the ground, and then as you know, gangsters riot, and then, you know, they recruited from the all-too numerous unemployed. They were 6 times and many gangs. So in Glasgow, so the drunks and the doorstep lenders and the penny prostitutes not witnessed a new type of gang emerge. So I should tell us that, you know, that imagine the Celtic Rangers game, and back in time as well, because, you know, Rangers used stones, especially stones, as some parasites, and they threw them at Celtic supporters. They were always square goals. They threw the stones, bottles, beer bottles, everything, one massive stones, but they were fucking square goals. Celtic Rangers matches, you know. So stadiums when Celtic and Rangers were played were cordoned by police. Now the police surrounded the whole stadium, and then, I mean, the day is the same. Just in case, man. Just in case. At every Celtic and Rangers match, the stadiums are surrounded by police, you know, and the helicopter is just flying above the stadium, and it's another eye to observe that and catch something suspicious, you know, unsuspicious behaviour, you know. So be prepared for that, troops. But we are Celtic fans, so we are, you know, we know how to behave now. We're more cultural. Also ads. So razor gangs were in 1934. Alexander MacArthur, an alcoholic, unemployed baker, sent some writing to a publisher. His graphic description of 800 strong gang was set with a slash of a razor, lit tabloid journalists now under him. Together wrote a seminal novel, No Means Say, and title came for the Bible. The story is fictional, but Tale of the Bloody of Johnny Stark has crowning the Razor King of the Gorbals gang. So it was straight in a book, 6 that violence meant, and the band for Glasgow bookshops, and that became national bestseller. So so in 1930s, Glasgow was Glasgow's gangs dominated the streets. There were the Bowery Boys, man, the Redskins squad because they are it, rose-colored faces and that. The Santoy Protestant, the Shamrock and the Timaloys, both Catholic. The Bingo Boys, the Govan team, the Baltic Fleet. There was one uneven fighting female gang of the pickpocket prostitutes, man, called the Nudies, but one stood out. I was at their high public profile and that, so it was ultimately to their downfall. And the Belly Boys, the most dangerous man. Billy Thornton was the sole leader. That was originally called the Brexton Belly Boys, man. So he founded them in 1924. So he claimed they were started after a beaten up the Catholic gang, after beating them at football. A traditional view of honourable man defending his family and faith now. So has recently been debunked by historian Dr. Andrew Davis. You know, Dr. Davis believes that Billy Fullerton was cowardly fascist who beat his wife. And after I was jailed in the 1930s, you know, and no one disputes the fact that, however, this gang terrorised Glasgow's East End throughout the 1930s. So the Belly Boys fashioned themselves as almost paramilitary. So they wore a uniform of sorts. They were playing instruments, so they were acting as an orchestra. So you heard the music in the background. As you know, that fucking drums and that orchestra sounds, you knew that the Billy Boys are coming. The Billy Boys are approaching, you know. So they were a uniform sort of marching parade. It was parade, so orchestra as a parade, with their own bands as an orchestra band, you know. Ended each day with God Save the King, a Billy of Orange, King of Orange. They had a junior training section that dairy boys, which prepared for English with senior ranks. Members pay a week levy. It was used for amongst the other things that just supporting members, supporting release out of jail, who were in need to earn food and then clothing. So you know something about eraser gangs. That was one of the eraser gangs, Belly Boys, but I'm going to talk about them a wee bit after as well, a wee bit more. Another, I want to mention, obviously, you know. Look here. So I'm going to talk about gangs just now. All right. Oof, sorry man, but I'm back just now. I'm going to start I'm talking about the Belly Boys, you know. Because as you know, who are the real Belly Boys, the Glasgow gang, and during the 1920s and 30s, the Scottish Glasgow was home to a number of well-organised sectarian gangs, sectarian men. So the most famous of this was the Belly Boys at Protestant Street gang for the East End of Glasgow. Here, historian Andrew Davis shares a closer look at the city's gang wars. The Brexton Blood Boys were biggest and most powerful gang in Glasgow. So during the 1920s and 30s, they took their name from the Dutch Protestant monarch William of Orange, King Billy. So he later became William III, you know, and the King of England, Scotland and Ireland. So his victory, the Battle of Boyne in 1680, so has secured Protestant rule in England and Scotland as well as Ireland. The Bellies recruited Protestant youths across Brexton, and then surrounding districts of Glasgow's East End. So, most joined in the late teens now, when they stay active in the gang in their 20s and 30s. So at the peak, you know, in the late 1920s, the Belly Boys numbered 800, making them the largest gang in Britain by far. They were divided into sections 4 strong each, with his own leader. They in turn took their orders from Billy Fullerton, the gang's chief. So Billy Fullerton was a street-fighting man. Living skill, he found work in a shipyard, so whereas in common to many men was a generation. So he experienced that and then a repeated bounce of employment his teens. So he gained and fully became that adept marshal in the Belly Boys activities such as church parades and religious processions, using them as an opportunity to march his gang through what they were defined as Catholic thoroughfares, man. So Fullerton also had the newspapers and he phoned again an interview that I portray he's a local celebrity, man. So it's someone that had left in the world in the gangs going straight. So now the Marshall and Parades, Billy Fullerton also acted as in the gangs as secretary, full-time job, man, as in 1932. So I had to make plans for facing it and just being after a fund. So and I think that 100 and very Mars when I a gang as a member. So the Billy Boys, man, engaged in the better foods. Catholic gangs across Glasgow's East End. So during the 1930s, they when the Billies numbered closer to 500, the fiercest opponents were the Kent Star and then adjacent district of Carlton. Between them, a rival gangs raised many followers, the Billy Boys. No? Norman conquerors the Norman Street in Dalmarnock. Another long-stunning adversary, Turkish Billy Boys, and fit for that, stabbings, occasional razor slashing, and seemingly endless cycles of reprisal. In court, members of Billy Boys claimed that a gang had been formed to protect those marching annual parades and Orange Order. Orange Walks, man, had in July, so the processionists, man, knows to return to their home districts. I don't think it has changed, these Orange Walks have sayings. I don't know. It's a shite for me. It's something. It's something connected with sectarianism. Something connected with that gang, Billy Boys. But most of all, it's connected with that Rangers fans. Who most of all are Protestants, are and fucking sectarian. So I don't see that sense in it. Sorry, I don't think it's any sense of doing that Orange Walk. Sorry. And court members of Billy Boys claim that a gang been formed to protect those marching and the annual parades of the Orange Order. Orange Walks held in July, man. The procession is noise not a returning him districts now with the arrival of Billy Boys. So I did to march in the front, clash in the foot, the staff legend on the occasion, Ross Pre and that, later off on the Kent Star, reputed thrown head first through a plate in Glasgow. The two football teams in Glasgow, Rangers, Celtic and Rangers, are famously Protestant and Catholic, as you know, respectively. One day, the Orange Walk, or a match between two teams, and that, the Catholic gangs of the East End would join forces to oppose the Billy Boys, and that. Such a Protestant gangsters, strength numbers. The Billies, of course not. And then were avoid followers of Rangers. Billy Fullerton had reasoned the ranks of gang first organising their trips to matches and then assuming the responsibility for collecting the gang's funds. How were the Billy Boys funded? The Billy Boys were founded and came from a variety of sources and members pay subscriptions and then £6 per week, according to whether it's just in or out work and not just employed for an elite 1920. So as Glasgow shipyards, man, were ahead of globalisation, shopkeepers want to make a regular contributions in return for protection. So unscrupulous politicians who bankrolled the Billy Boys, Fullerton took payments not a breaking out left not meetings and even assaults on the demonstrations. So the communist inspired national employment workers. So movement. The Billy Boys, even that Stuart was on a conservative one. Meetings in Glasgow. It's the end and Daily Mirror headline. Gangsters as Tory Stuarts. So embarrassed unionist man leaders and then turned instead of Glasgow's University Rugby Club. Whoa! Sorry. It's me, Glasgow, genuinely. Once again. Because I want to tell you something, as well, as I'll tell you, Celtic Rangers, is it still present, that rivalry? I would say aye. Because every time when there's a Celtic parade, Rangers are around, so there's another parade or Rangers. They're always offended. Celtic fans are always offended by Rangers fans. At every match, Celtic Rangers, we have stadium surrounded by the police. Hundreds of police cars, hundreds of policemen. Man, you know what I mean? So that didn't change at all. That rivalry, because Glasgow always been divided. Glasgow is divided. You see there's divisions today between Celtic and Rangers. I think Celtic more Catholic, people think, and the Rangers more Protestant sectarianism. It's about as right, most of all. But it's not the case. It's not the case, man. About Celtic. Celtic is the team like no other, man. It's a club for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a Catholic, you're a Protestant. You can join Celtic. They don't judge you. They don't fucking judge you. They don't ask where you're from. You can join Celtic. It's all about them. So, but Rangers are away you go, man. Away you go. Go down. They fucking offend Celtic. They just throw insults at them. It doesn't have to be that way, man. They're acting like fucking perverts, sorry. But that's my opinion about Rangers. So, but still, that gang, maybe it's not a gang, man. It's Celtic Rangers gang. No, it's not that. But the new is just a rivalry between Celtic and Sefco perverts, you know. So, what I want to tell you the new is I wanted to continue talking about that main gangs in Glasgow. But before I do that, as you know, that great book, Glasgow, it's Glasgow, People of Glasgow Memories. For Glasgow, we don't know. Histories of stories of people growing up in Glasgow. So the older generation of Glaswegians, so people we don't know. And it's a great book if you want to know their memories. But I found something about Glasgow gangs, because there's a class war. In chapter class war, and I want to read it, I want to share it with you. So I want to add something, you know. So, I would start it. Some names reveal the almost childish nature of these gangs' conceptions, such as the McGrory boys after Celtic player Jimmy McGrory, and the Milligan boys after boxer Tommy Milligan, but many of them were neither small or disorganised, not just edgy and factual. The Billy boys in particular, as we shall see, man. The penny mob was first recorded back in the 1880s, man. So, allegedly took a name for a member's of tradition contributing a penny a week, and the insurance fund to pay fines. So, the Canby gang was named after a home territory, Cumberland Street, the heart of the Gorbals. So, the Canby was fingered by an Evening Citizen, one of 3 evening papers in the city in Glasgow. So, real danger. They were crying, "Canby, you bus! Canby, you bus, man! Literally, you bastard," heralding the immediate once that hit buttons, kicking, slashing the name of the infamous Baltic fleet, and that's a reputed derived for that warehouse and the district that Tongs, originally for the Carlton, claimed in 1958. So, 68 interview with the Daily Telegraph, man. They have the name directed for the terror of the Tongs. So, a violent hammer horror movie. The Tongs. Tongyabas! The arms that these gangs raised, as I tell you that, what weapons these gangs used, you'll feel thrills in your spines, man. So the arms these gangs raised against rival gangs' list of weapons are drawn up after police clampdowns or the occasional armistice, man. So have a quaint and medieval quality, makeshift, lethal, especially lethal though, enough. Hammers, sticks, sweet and late, iron bars, boat on string, beer bottles, billard cues, metal shaped into a dagger, hatchets, bayonets, Indian clubs, bicycle chains, sometimes with razor sharp steel fixed on lengths. That was called razor knives. So sometimes and from the 1920s, so the cutthroat razor. Imagine they maybe instruments I could use, not a Johnny, a fiction where I just didn't arrive completely, man. So had you seen someone who can take it from Jimmy Boyle, who wrote in his autobiography? Do you remember that film, Sense of Freedom? Jimmy Boyle, one of the gang leaders. I mentioned about Billy Fullerton, the leader of Billy Boys. Then I mentioned about the string gang in Glasgow, Jimmy Boyle, who wrote a book, Sense of Freedom. I just watched a film about it. He spent almost all his life in prison, what he done. So, as a leader of the gang guy, he spent the rest of his life in prison. So, Jimmy Boyle wrote in his autobiography, hope you read it, hope you watched the film, Sense of Freedom, great film, man, pure dead brilliant film. I truly recommend it. So, he wrote, "I was fighting this guy who was just hammer. They kept bouncing off my heat. During the struggle, we ended up the close and moved with meat on top of him. So I hacked a butcher's knife into his face and I slashed him between the blood coming from him and just my teeth were covered in it. So this is the first time I slashed him, and I didn't feel like any remorse or pity. The guess in my head was sorry cut. So within days, as first I reckoned with some ways were saying that smart as a brush. There's a sort of hero worship about all of it and just place that hero pedestal of all my own gangs. So that was a fragment for the book, Glasgow. So I'd love to, the new troops, I want to continue the book gangs. Because another, gang was called the Carlton Tongues, Tongue Bus, the next pure fucking dangerous violent gang in Glasgow. So, as I mentioned, they were created in the Carlton, Glasgow. So a nickname Tongue Bus, Tongues of Glasgow. So around in 1960s. But violent Scottish teenage gang called the real Carlton Tongues. The Tongues finance themselves as in protection racket, and then leaving money on shops now within territory. So they marked the territory out in the graffiti with their slogan "Tongues ya bus, man, Tongues ya bus." So, but what the background? There's no agreement with the original name, but one version is it's maybe apocryphal. So it tells us in 1960s in the East End cinema near Fielding Street. Those ones in the small local cartoon gang played by McKeeb were watching the film The Terror of the Tongues about the Chinese secret society. When McKeeb shouts out, "Tongues ya boss, man!" For the first time, McKeeb consequently remains for a terror of McKeeb. So cartoon in 19th century was ruled by brutal Santois. And the name was written that way, the varied spellings, such as Santo in the 1930s, so as well as, ya bus, generally taken as Glasgow slang for you bastard, you bastard, you boss man. Though as been proposing it could be Gaelic or Grey, meaning battle on day. Another Glasgow gang slogan was "Spur ya bus." This was the name of one of the two rival gangs for the Barrowfield area. So Tongues ya bus arguably became Glasgow's unofficial motto in the 1960s, 70s. So Tongland appears in Gillis McQueen in the 1995 film with Small Faces. Hope you watched that film, Small Faces. It was great, pure brilliant film. Set in 1960s Glasgow. Although the setting of the gang turns actually the tour blocks in the side hill. The Tongues and other gangs pair of the area during the decline 1970s and the Shred Jane and Goldie. Tongues ya boss, man. For years, the Carlton Tongues, the original Tongues, not so that was the day they were most feared and infamous to come out, they say. So that's why they finally appeared to have so they finally appeared after their demise in 2011. So after running a reign of terror throughout the East End for generations, Police Scotland felt that as a mark occasion by issuing the press release celebrating the death of young team dubbed Scotland's most violent gang, the Tongues. Aye. So the Tongues probably had more control of the area than the other street gang in the country. So but listen to the area becoming known as a Tongland. So the nickname Tongland, with their infamous chant of "Tongues ya boss," became a slogan for generations of young teams, gang members, the ways of Scotland. So. And to add something about tongues as well. Tongues. Where are tongues? Some people say that ya bus comes from ancient Scottish Gaelic, as I mentioned. So Tongues was the pure dangerous, more violent than was the area of Tongland. You may see as well the Tongland, the Carlton Tongues, the Tongland in the Small Faces that film in 1960. So pretty brilliant film troops. So if you're interested, just if you go for that. The next gang, less dangerous. I should say less dangerous as normal Kongs. Norman Kongs, so they were a Catholic sectarian street gang in Glasgow. It was one of their Glasgow Razor gangs and was active between the 1880s and the 1960s. So say the effect of Industrial Revolution now. Was territory most of their immersion based about Catholic area of Norman Street and Brecton. So if I mean that's be aware, man. If you're a Celtic fans, don't go to Brecton. Because Brecton is fucking hotching with Rangers fans. With that sectarianism, that hatred, because you can see that around. So don't, if you go there, but if you go there, if you have to go there, so you don't put, Celtic colours, because you'll be, you have the feeling that they may kill you, for that. Some incidents happened as well. I remember that was a boy was walking through the Brecton a few years ago back. Celtic fan, as I mentioned, in the Celtic hoops and a t-shirt and scarf. I suppose after match, but Brecton, walking through Brecton. He was attacked. But Rangers fans, fucking perverts. It was a square go. And they just stopped him to death as well, of course. Because that's because he was Celtic supporter. That's because he was a Celtic fan. That's ridiculous, man. This shouldn't be that way. So I still see, as you walk in through Brecton, it's one place now, I just see the t-shirt, this t-shirt hoops, green white colours now. Some wreaths and flowers, not everything. So pure dangerous area. If you're a Celtic fan, so don't get there. Don't go to the. Don't show them that you're a Celtic fan. Don't. Yeah, don't talk to them. Nothing. Zero, man. Zero. So what I want to tell you about is Penny. Penny mobs is another gang I want to tell you about a wee bit. So Penny mobs. But this gang was not that popular, so was the rest of the gang. So, right. As you know, in Glasgow, we're hundreds of gangs. But I'm not going to talk about it because it'll take hundrds of years, man. So, what I want to talk to you about this just now is, troops. Glasgow smile. Do you know Glasgow smile is? Glasgow smile is I wouldn't quote, but I'm making small cuts on the corners of victim's mouth, then beating or stabbing him or her with the muscles in the face contract, causing the cut to extend up the cheeks of the victim's ears. See? So that was typical of being a Glasgow, joining a Glasgow gang. That was a, privilege for some to having something like that. I remember one situation and I was watching one document and then I was the other nurse. She was talking about they had hundreds of cases where of young lads, young boys with that Glasgow smell, cuttings, stabbings. And she was having a conversation with the one man having a Glasgow smell. And he said that it will be a pure difficult wound to heal and you'll be having a scar. He said just something like that. That's all right, hun. It's all right, hun. She said, what all right? How can you be proud of having something like that? Look, it looks, to me, it looks pure horrible, man. it looks horrendous. It's not something you should be proud of. It's something I'll be scared of myself if I'm having something like that, But for some people, especially leader of the gangs, members of the gangs, that was a privilege having Glasgow smell, because it was something that defines them. Glasgow smell defines gangs members, gangs leaders. That's how they feel that pride that they have in that Glasgow smell, Oh man, seriously, but that gives me thrills down my spine. So I should tell you. So let me tell you that. So, as you know, it's me again. I'm not having Glasgow smell. Sorry, I'm not going to. Glasgow pure famous gangsters, as I mentioned, Billy Fullerton is a leader of. I mentioned a few about him when I was talking about the Billy Boys gang. Another one is a pure dangerous gangster, Ian MacDonald. He wrote a book as well. James Iceman Stevenson and Paul Ferris. You may see hundreds of interviews with the man. Ian MacDonald, he had an interview with Jordan Robertson, for example, and with James English. So you can watch the interviews, podcast if you're interested in there and to know them there. You just go like him, just dig deeper now. So I recommend use this podcast. Great people. They change their lives to now, but I think they have a lot to say about the times when they're gang leaders. So I'm going to tell you something now. What was the main that was the main reason of that joining gang and that, that was the problem in Glasgow once. The young people were young lads. Came through that difficult families, you know what I mean? When these young guys come through that family, went was, the alcohol abuse or violence, they were damaged inside. They had nothing better to do. They were created that way. That's how they joined gangs. That's how they stepped into the wrong path, the dark path, And what I'm going to tell you is that the alcohol abuse was the main reason. Alcohol abuse was the main reason of young lads, men, joining gangs. Alcohol abuse. So maybe it's a funny situation, just I'm going to tell you that. But Glasgow had to deal with it, man. Glasgow had to deal with it. Glasgow men, Glasgow lads. Glasgow the government had to do something to, diminish the alcohol abuse in Glasgow. So it was Glasgow's pure steaming. I mean, pure madweight. Fucking madweight, man. As long as the young Glaswegians, like, sorry, man, that's how it looked like. Glasgow had hundreds of problems with alcohol abuse. That's how alcohol, as you know, alcohol abuse equals violence, equals domestic abuse, equals joining gangs on the wrong path, having square goals. That's alcohol was the main creator, was the main cause, alcohol abuse in Glasgow. I'm talking about Glasgow. So in Glasgow, alcohol abuse was the main reason for young lads or men joining gangs or being violent. So I was going to tell you it'll be a little bit funny because after a pure hard working week, every Glasgow man wanted to have some entertainment, just be out for a swally. And then to drink with his pals, and then the wife was waiting at the gates of the factory or the, Fairfields shipyards, and they were like, give me money, man. So she, because she knew that if she let him to go to the pub and drink with his pals, he spent all the money, and she needed that one. She needed money, a pension for a living, for clothes, for food. You know what I mean? Men in Glasgow were weak. They used alcohol too much. That's how alcohol abuse in Glasgow caused young lads, men, joining gangs. That's how people had the distracted image of Glasgow because of this. But is Glasgow still a murder capital of Europe? People may argue, but I mean, the violence in Glasgow is less than 60%. So actually, the government is doing something. You know, Glasgow streets are almost over 60% safer. So streets of Glasgow are safer. That's a fucking pure brilliant saying, troops. But Glasgow is pure hard to understand, as you know, pure hard to see that beauty, that charms. But if you do so, you fell in love with Glasgow, trust me. You have an example, Glasgow genuine here. But I wanted to read something for you, so that book as well, again, Glasgow. So about this, why the alcohol abuse was the main reason why young lads join gangs. So let me tell you, to get to the root of the gang culture and street violence, that was the root, alcohol abuse, as I mentioned. We need to take a tip or two for two MacArthur longs in the mar. Well-informed novel Nomin say the hero, Johnny Stark, has a brutal upbringing. His father drinks, beats up his mother. Eventually lays Johnny out before being imprisoned and dying of alcohol-related disease. The suggestion is that his brutal upbringing led to violent lifestyle. Here, indeed, man, was violence bred, according to Mr. Anne Campbell, who wrote to the Glasgow Herald in July 1916. The juvenile crime has to do with parental neglect and bad example. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, troops. 9 times out of 10 in Glasgow. Dysfunction in a family is due to alcohol abuse. So when Stone Age Egyptians brewed man's first alcohol drink some 12,000 years ago, they have known the effect their invention would have on the inhabitants of modern Glasgow. So Glasgow has long held a reputation for heavy boozing, and the image of the perpetually drunken Glaswegian has aged itself in the minds of millions across the world. Arriving in Glasgow by car one Friday morning, 6:30, it wasn't. Try me, man. I want to tell you something that every time I'm in Glasgow, so it's Friday night and Saturday night, the Glaswegians are buzzing, man. They're just fucking singing. So every Friday night at Glasgow ends. The Friday night and the Saturday night is the best, man. So that's something. So arriving in Glasgow by car Friday morning, 6:30. Listen. I wasn't surprised to see a sign, don't drink and drive. Later man did motorway gantry into the city in the back in the mid-19th century, observes, you know, and then a shock to be the city's alcohol sold in nature. Particularly outspoken man, either a Scotland newspaper, proclaimed in the 1850s, Scotland is pretty near at least the most drunken nation on the face, man. No Scotland, no party, no Glasgow, no fun, no party as well. So, in the space of earth of fact, never quite capable of denial, it may seem strange that Glasgow, where the clergy swarm, should be notoriously the most guilty and offensive. So, it's no, man. Seriously. Leave Glasgow alone. I'm serious, just no, change your attitude to Glasgow, change it, man. Government attempts to reduce alcohol consumption, you know, from the late 19th century onwards had some limited success in the 1930s, and then the higher taxation and reduced spirit consumption quarantine amount from the 1890s. So, still alcohol had a firm hold the SI. And if Glasgow had Hogmanay, it was we have the party night and the people downstairs next door had a party next night and so on. For 4 days in between times you went to bed, you slept to fucking got a cap, you know, maybe a 3 or 4 hours, man. So thing go up and the first thing you do is you get a shot. So drunkenness of course may relieve that problem, frustration one, but onto their exploitation. But when consciousness returned, exacerbate it, caused most of the crime in Glasgow. That was the end of town. So the men work hard and they want the drunk on the Friday night. So because they work in it further and to drink money away, well, they earned it, as I mentioned. I also like to drink, like fucking wee swally. So it was a fact of life which everybody accept it. So Glasgow, my love, or Glasgow. The new trips I want to tell us about. Sorry. I want to tell you about how to become a perfect man. Winter just arrived to my Glasgow, so my Glasgow is pure magical. My Glasgow looks pure, beautiful, magical as usual. It's a winter wonder. My Glasgow is a winter wonderland just now. But what makes a perfect tour guide? Do you know, I've been at hundreds of tours around Glasgow with our public tour guides, and I have some, issues with them. No issues. I mean that I didn't like these trips that much. Maybe because I'm Glasgow genuine. Maybe because I knew hundreds of stuff about Glasgow. Maybe that's I love Glasgow that much. That Glasgow is one of the great loves of my life, as you know. But these public tour guides, I put my traffic coin just now. Because these tour guides didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, I wanted to tell that. I want to know everything about Glasgow, but they didn't give me the essence of Glasgow, the heart of Glasgow. I didn't say it. So they didn't tell you that St. Enoch Square was once called St. Enoch Gate. Aye. That here was the St. Enoch Hotel in place of the St. Enoch Shopping Centre just now. And that was the St. Enoch Parish Church in place of the modern subway and modern St. Enoch station. They didn't tell you that, man. They didn't. It's not just that. They tell you some anecdotes. But these things are too obvious. They didn't tell you about that Glasgow the centuries ago. Did they just, as I call it, wake up your imagination, Is there imaginations, man? Here in Glasgow once, it was that one in this place, this one, They don't present you the essence of Glasgow, To be a perfect tour guide, you have to have passion, of course, love. And they show people that more than the obvious Glasgow, you know what I mean? Because Glasgow, for some people, is just obvious. But Glasgow has hundreds of, nooks and crannies, hundreds of charms, that beauty hidden just around the corner, just somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It's not the beauty of Glasgow and charm is not that obvious. Being a perfect tour guide means showing people that charm. Every charm of Glasgow, the essence of Glasgow, you know what I mean? So, if you choose me, I'll be pure happy to be your perfect tour guide. And I'd love to show us around. I'd love to, man. So. Next video trips, I'm going to comment for you. Great. I mean, Celtic matches, of course. Whoa! I wanted to read my poem about Glasgow before I forget. My poem about Glasgow I just wrote recently. So, my Glasgow, swimmy so the sky's blue. My Glasgow, swimmy so as one Beatrice. My Glasgow, snuggle me up in every roast in a fluffy cloak. The white fluff. My Glasgow, wench my lips so passionately. Let me know you want me body says I. My Glasgow, whisper to my ear that you love me. Your words like melody, man. My Glasgow, like letters floating around somewhere pure only in the abyss of blue, and put together make my great life so colourful. My Glasgow are pure beautiful and magical, so as these moments hidden under glistening cloak of the lady moonlight. My Glasgow are like redrose, which is growing and thriving somewhere bottom of my head. My Glasgow are like nip oxygen, like a gust of wind with north, which bring me back to life. My Glasgow, get a sense of my pure heart and life now. You, my Glasgow, are the grandest and the greatest for the brightness of love sometimes brew. You, my Glasgow, are calling me, so I must go. To be away again, to walk your streets again, to run into your arms one more time, give you 1,000 kisses. So, next time, troops. Hello. Sorry. Next time, I'm going to talk about Scottish legal system and answer question. What is it flawless or has something to hate with history? A history of Scottish legal system, and I present to you a flaws of Scottish legal system based on Glasgow murder crime case. A focus on Glasgow murder crime cases. All right, and of course, I'm going to talk about Celtic. I'm going to comment Celtic matches first. Next Celtic match. So. Troops. I'm sending you hundreds of cases. Glasgow genuinely with traffic cone and Celtic dafty. Telling you, have a pure brilliant evening and see you next Sunday. And by the way, up to next game Celtic, which is on a Wednesday.